Yeah, Sean has mentioned this has been. I'm basically a second generation personal training studio owner. This October will be 17 years that I've been doing this, and I've owned my own studio for the last 5.5 years of that. I have been in a management position for the better part of the last decade, and I've worked with Sean and NPE for a large part of that. And definitely attribute our ongoing success to Sean and the team at NPE. So this has been a long time coming. Working with Sean and changing our offer has really allowed us to kind of unite our team. And just for those of you that weren't at Portland with us, the redhead here on the left, that's my wife, Stevie. The blonde on my right is my business partner, Bo. The three of us are coaches in our studio. And in the last year, we've managed to get Stevie and Bo out of coaching and more in roles that they enjoy and are really passionate about, that allows us to grow in the studio. So a little bit about us. We opened up Recoup in January of 2020, which was an excellent time to start a fitness business, considering what was to come. But fortunate for us, we had a great track record of clients who have supported us in the journey, and we switched the whole virtual role, and we did that really successfully. We had about 60 clients that were joining us from the semi-private in-person to suddenly online, and just figuring out what that looked like for us. And eventually we opened up our virtual program to about 200 other residents in the Costa Mesa area in Orange County, California, where we are. And we're honestly pretty successful in the virtual space, but it was just really not something that we were excited about. So as soon as we were able to get back to in-person, we did, and we continue to operate in our studio here, which is about 2,600 square feet. And as you can see, we're 100% semi-private personal training, and then we have the in-house nutrition coaching as well. So semi-private for us typically looks like one trainer to 6 clients, or 2 trainers on the floor with 10 to 12 clients. It's priced appropriately for semi-private. Average session rate ends up being about $50 per session. We have about 140-ish clients that train contractually with us on 6, 12, and 18-month-long programs. And we have 3 full-time coaches beyond ourselves that work with us, and we have a full-time admin as well. So at the moment, the team is fully staffed, and it's feeling pretty good. So as far as the pain that we were in, our messaging was really all-inclusive. Our team wasn't really clear on the direction. We would sometimes pop quiz them on like who our avatar was, and they weren't really certain, because we were kind of just throwing out this big net and catching whoever would fall into it. And actually during that process, we even lost some of our favorite clients, because suddenly we were attracting by accident clients that were a little bit older. We had a lot of the 60+ crowd, and we were really good at serving those people. But in a semi-private setting, it can be difficult to have a number of those in a single session. And suddenly our clients that we enjoyed training day in and day out, who had been with us for years, were telling us that it seemed a little bit confusing as to who we wanted to serve long term. And even some of them left. And we only established or discovered that in some exit interviews that we did, because it always comes as a shock when you've had a client for 5+ years and then they leave with no heads up. So as far as how we were growing, we were really handcuffed to an offer, and the one person that could deliver it was myself, because we were in that free consultation offer, and it worked great. Something that I kind of pushed back with Sean for a number of probably years, even, Sean, because I can sell ice to an Eskimo. If you were in the office with me, if we got you to a consultation, I could make up a price and you were going to pay it. But the problem with that is, I'm in this role where I'm a young father and I've got kids, and I don't want to be in the studio 24/7. I want to take vacations, and suddenly it's like, hey, I'm going to be gone for a week. So let's pump the brakes on signing up any new business, which obviously that doesn't work. So we worked with Sean to recreate our messaging a little bit, get clear on who we wanted to serve. And it was a younger avatar than what we had been mistakenly attracting. Suddenly we were speaking more towards the high achieving professionals, the full-time working parents, in the late 30s, early 40s, who are really our favorite clients to work with. And we changed the offer from that free consultation to a paid trial. And I think what was so beneficial to that was it really empowered the team by having this clear system of how we could grow. And also, as I'm going to share with you today, it empowered our clients as to how we can utilize them, if you will, to become lead generators for us. So the paid trial turned into numerous reiterations, but ultimately, what it's inclusive of is in a week, we see someone 3 times, we train them for 3 sessions, they get a really good idea as to what our culture is and what our philosophy is. It begins with an initial evaluation that's inclusive of an in-body scan and some injury assessment. And then it finishes with a consultation in which we talk about some long-term solutions. But what we really worked on consistently throughout is the SOPs for our paid trial. And so we continued to revamp how we would deliver it, what the standards were, even, simply making sure that a client has paid, right? And making sure that they've signed a waiver before they come out onto the gym floor. Also knowing which trainer is assigned to managing those clients onboarding, so that right now, while we don't have someone who's solely in control of that role, just assigning individual trainers and giving them a little bit of management experience, if you will, from start to finish. Talking about the session structure so that we're really consistent throughout, regardless of who delivers it. Talking about scripts for both before their sessions and after their sessions. A little bit about what the programming should look like, best practices. And then just really ensuring that as they go through, we're consistently painting the picture of where they're headed. So after that first session, talking about making sure they're on the schedule for sessions 2 and 3. At session 2, making sure that they remember that session 3 is scheduled on this date. And then talking about that there is a confirmation of a consultation that's either going to follow that session or will be their 4th visit into the studio. And this has allowed our team to not only get clarity as to who we serve, but how we serve them. And the beauty of the paid trial is we went from this consultation where a lot of objection handling was sometimes accomplished, where there was some high emotions, there were high stakes of talking about someone who's potentially never had a personal trainer before, to suddenly committing to 18 months without even knowing us, to now our consultation is more like a high five. You completed this first week, we had a ton of fun, and here's how we should continue based on our professional recommendation. So it really removes a lot of the skill set, if you will, of the person who's delivering that consultation. And now we have a number of people on the team who can fulfill that role. So I think the proof in the pudding, and some of the most fun things that I've experienced since we have begun delivering it this way, is there have been clients who have been with us for a month now, where we cross paths and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the infamous Jenny. And the trainer's looking at me like, you've never met this person? Like, she's been here for almost 2 months, And that's cool. Like, I've never been in that experience in my business. So we took the paid trial and we've continued to tweak it. Today, I'm going to speak mostly about what we call the golden ticket. And the golden ticket is a great way for us to take our paid trial that we normally charge $249. And it kind of turned into like this buddy week on steroids, where we can say to a new client who just signed up, hey, that paid trial that you just did, we want to give you this gift card, if you will. And who do you know that might benefit from something similar to what you just went through? Matter of fact, you can give them this $249 value, present it to your friend however you want, whether you bought it for them or I gave it to you to give to them, however you want to put it, but give it to that person. And then inclusive of that, and one of the main things that we do is we make sure to pre-qualify that person so they know that they're not just coming in for a free week, but we spend some time doing some pre-qual. We do a discovery call with that person. And we discuss with them what the potential long-term investment looks like, make sure that they're the right fit for our business. But assuming that they are, we bring them in and they do our paid trial just without paying the $249. But it's a super easy lead gen for us. And we kind of turned it into this buddy week on steroids, where now we're giving our clients real, like, actionable assets that they can pass along to their friends and family, that makes it so easy for their friend to convert into one of our clients. Now, one thing that I talked a little bit about in Portland that I think there were some follow-up questions on is we do begin that with that discovery call. So just like any other lead that comes to our business who would go on our website or walk in, we obviously do a full pre-qualification and make sure that they can afford our services long term beyond just this $249 trial. And actually this week it did happen where a client gave a golden ticket gift card to one of their friends. We got on the phone with them, we talked to them, we really went over what their goals are and who we are, et cetera, et cetera. And then when it got down to talking about the investment, it was established that it was beyond their scope. And so, hey, we just respectfully declined. We told them that unfortunately, this is probably not the right fit, and we're going to keep their information, and that we will continue to reach out to them with potentially future promotions, or at the very least, provide them some great value that they can take with them. And there was no hard feelings. They didn't pay anything. The client didn't pay anything for it. And they totally understood it wasn't going to be a good way for them to spend a week either. But assuming that it is a good fit, that client comes in and we follow the script. The paid trial operates the same exact way, and we conclude that trial that they did with that consultation. And so once that new client signs up, the referring client gets a free month as a thank you for bringing us a new lead, right? And so this has been a really easy way for us to generate new business. And I'll talk a little bit about what the ROIs look like. But over the subsequent months, we have continued to just tweak that offer. So the golden ticket became the Valentine's Day promo where someone could bring in a loved one, became the spring renewal promo. All we did was just change the name. But it got people really excited, and we left them with actionable assets that they could pass out to their friends and family to bring someone in and earn a free month. And then every time someone came in and someone signed up, it was celebrated, right? We took a photo with the new client. We took a photo with the new client and the referring friend when possible. It was in our newsletter that so-and-so got a free month. The week after I got back from Portland, we had a client who passed on the golden ticket to one of her coworkers who scheduled a discovery call. And then that coworker told another coworker, and then we did a double discovery call, and both of those coworkers signed up. And that referring client ended up getting 2 free months of personal training. And we tell them, like, hey, there's no cash value. You're going to add this to the end of your contract, but who doesn't want 2 free months of personal training for giving away a gift that made them feel good that they helped a loved one? So some of the results that we've created, of course, that new offer, it's really aligned the team as to who we serve. It's removed the handcuffs from me as to how we do it. The golden ticket, the Valentine's Day promo, the spring renewal, so far, just when I made this, those 3 campaigns brought in almost $56,000 in total new client sales. And we're going to end up giving away $3,000 in personal training for it just by tacking on some contracts at the end. But I mean, who wouldn't pay $3,000 to get 56 grand back? That was an easy one. And it wasn't even money out of my pocket. We've really created a system for growth to lean into. We leverage new clients for new leads. So anytime a new client comes in and we give them a welcome bag, there's a golden ticket in there. And we really take some time to explain to them what it is. And while they're new, it's super fresh for them. They're hyped on us. They're already talking to their friends and family about what they're doing. So now they have something they can give away to bring someone in. And what that means for us is that, sales are a piece of cake now. The staff has referral metrics that they now really have some clarity on how they can do it. And they get commission, they get paid to do it. And the clients, most importantly, are staying longer because now it's like, if you've got your husband here, or if you've got your best friend here, or if you've got multiple coworkers here, the relationships are so ingrained that they're not leaving. I mean, our retention rate is ridiculous. So I think some of the biggest lessons that I've learned, and this is a test to Sean's persistence with me, is that even though I've been closing really consistently, and even though our business has been, successful, and we're super blessed to be in this position, what has worked doesn't have to be the forever solution. And then also revisiting that standard operating procedure consistently while growing. So we're always, especially while we're coming up with a new name for it or a new way to promote it, or, just coming back to what we've been doing. We're talking to the staff. What are you experiencing? Where is there some friction? How can we be better? I mean, one of the things that we even realize is, hey, like, we used to give the swag bag, the welcome bag at the end of the consultation. Well, a lot of these clients have trained with us by 4 times, 3 or 4 times by that point. They already paid most of them $249 to come in for this trial. Why don't we just give them the welcome bag at the beginning? Why not just make the paid trial start off with this sick welcome bag and help them to see the value right off the bat? So, that's really important for us, is to continuously go back and revamp what we're already doing. And I think if I had any advice for others, regardless of how long you've been doing this, like I mentioned, 17 years for me, just be consistently willing to revisit the avatar and the message. This is one thing that I feel like we have done so many times at Recoup. When things are not going good, when things are going good, talking to the team about what they're seeing on the gym floor. Do they like who we're working with? Sending out exit surveys, asking clients, what was your experience? What can we learn from? That has been huge for us. Of course, hiring NPE, we did so for a reason. Number one, the accountability of that, but also the systems and the metrics that they hold us accountable to. And then I wish that I had one on me right now. I don't think I do, but when we first started, when we first did the golden ticket, it was printed on the most jankety, like double-sided, laminated piece of paper. We put it in an envelope, and there was nothing special about it, and the golden ticket just worked. So it's more about the offer, it's more about the delivery than how pretty it was. And granted, we have since continued to revamp this, and now it's on a really beautiful, slick looking gift card that looks just like a credit card. But if you've got an idea, just run with it. You can change it along the way. You can always improve it, but don't be afraid to just get started with it. Sean, that's it.
Awesome, man. I know you made time to block out here with us, and you got to run to another appointment. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I'll answer for you, but I know Mike was just asking that you position a slightly higher rate per session for the trial versus when they're in a long-term agreement. Can you just speak to that real quick?
Yeah, I think I was really just considering like where we would go from the paid trial. I wanted to attract a prospect who was, really a good fit for our business long term. And so I simply looked at what's our average monthly investment. Most people end up paying about $600 per month. So 249, yeah, it's a little bit more if you were to multiply that by 4.3 weeks, but there's the value of the in-body scan at the beginning, the initial 30-minute evaluation that we do. And then, we're placing this arbitrary value on the consultation to follow. But to be honest, if it was 199, 249, 299, I don't really think that matters a whole lot. It was more so just getting that prospect that was in that mentality that this is a paid trial, that there's an investment up front, and that they understand that there is a long-term commitment beyond just coming in for a week. So, we want to really make that clear during the pre-qual process.
Awesome. And Andre's asking, do you apply the trial investment to their first payment?
We do. So the 249, the people who, obviously they're not coming in on the golden ticket because there's no money exchange there. But if you were to go on my website right now and you filled out a form for a discovery call, we're going to get on the phone together, and I'm going to tell you that the way to get started is this paid trial, and it's $249. But during the pre-qual process, we talk about that, assuming you're interested in continuing and you are a good fit for our business and we're a good fit for you, then we'll apply the 249 to your first month. The main reason I did that, and I'm finding that it's not really necessary, to be completely honest. Number one is, I've got a lot of young staff, and I know that that is just a limiting belief of my own, but I find that a lot of times younger staff, they struggle on the phone when it comes to like a money exchange. So now when they're on that pre-qual, it's like, hey, I got nothing but good news for you. Like, here's your pain. Here's how we solve it. This is what it costs. I'm going to give it back to you. When do you want to start? And so that has just like removed all the friction that a lot of my team has expressed. But I don't think that's a necessary thing to do by any means.
Awesome. Okay, Madison, well, congrats. You guys just hit a great milestone with the 60K Club Award. I know you've got the seven-figure award in your sights, looking ahead, and onward we go. You know, you've got a great offer, you've skinned it, and you're going to keep running this thing. You anticipate using this every quarter, continue to leverage your
Yeah,
free
so
trial and skinning
the
it new
golden
ways?
ticket, the golden ticket is ongoing for sure. We talked about that among Stevie and Bo and myself, and there was an initial like, well, does it lose its value if this is something that we can always, if a client can always have for free? The way I look at it is, we used to have like these dedicated buddy weeks, right? And when we really like put out that buddy week was coming, that's when people tended to bring in people. But a lot of that was on us, right? We were making it known. But the reality is that anyone could bring a buddy in at any point, and we were always happy to serve them. So why not just throughout the year make it known, like, hey, if you have someone who's in your sites, or if you were talking to someone and you want to really help them kind of, you know, cross the bridge as to how to get going, here's a really easy way to do it.
Amazing. Okay. Well, thanks, Matt, for being here. Please give him some love in the chat. Again, fantastic work. This has been a key part of unlocking growth, not just for the business, but easier growth. And the team's growing, and they're signing up clients, and Matt's nowhere in the building, or even knows what's going on, or who's signing up and buying, because it's such a systemized process and takes the system does the work. It's not required on a strong leader to do the work. So love this for you, love this for your team, and growth is getting easier. More to come.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And then Sean, just really quick before I sign off,
Yeah.
I had dumped all of our SOPs and all of our files into the Slack channel when we were in Portland. So what was that? The end of May, right? That date.
Yep.
So if you guys just scroll
Yep.
back up in the channel, you can go find that. You can make copies of everything that I shared, as well as our Canva files are in there. So if you want to take like the spring renewal or the Valentine's Day thing or the golden ticket and make it your own, like feel free.
Amazing. All right, Madison, thank you for your presentation. Thanks for being here, and love you having you and your team as part of our community. So, well done, Orange County representing. Well done, guys.